When 8-year-old Lily walked into that glass elevator, clutching a crumpled piece of paper with her father's address, she had no idea she was about to ask a stranger the most impossible question of her life. Will you marry my dying mother? This is the story of how one brave little girl reunited a family that never knew it existed, and gave them just 2 weeks to become everything to each other. Welcome to Penthouse Stories with Grandpa. While you are here, please hit the subscribe button and share your thoughts on the story, as well as where you are watching from. Let me tell you a story that will touch your heart. It's about a little girl, a dying mother, and a man who didn't know his whole world was about to change. Picture this, a glass elevator climbing up a tall building in Chicago. Inside stands 8-year-old Lily Parker, her small hands gripping the railing so tight her knuckles have turned white. She's scared, but she's also the bravest person in that building today. Through the glass walls, she can see the whole city stretching out below her, but she's not looking at the view. Her eyes are fixed straight ahead, focused on what she came here to do. Please let him be kind, she whispers to herself. Please let him have a good heart. The elevator dings softly. Lily steps out into a world she's never seen before. Everything is expensive here. The floors shine like mirrors. The furniture looks like it belongs in a museum. Behind a big wooden desk sits a woman with silver hair and warm eyes. Sweetie, are you lost? The woman asks, standing up. Her name is Ruth, and she's worked here for many years. Lily takes a deep breath. Her voice shakes, but she makes herself speak clearly. I need to see Mr. David Parker. It's about my mom. She's dying. Ruth's heart breaks a little right there. She's seen a lot in her 70 years, but something about this little girl makes her want to cry. What's your name, honey? Lily Parker. My mom is Rachel Parker, and the doctors say she only has 2 weeks left. Tears start rolling down Lily's cheeks, but she keeps talking. Mom doesn't know I'm here. I took 3 buses to find him because I think he's my dad. Ruth covers her mouth with her hands. She remembers Rachel, the beautiful young woman who worked in their marketing department 9 years ago. The woman who left suddenly and broke David's heart in ways he never talked about. Oh, sweet child, Ruth whispers, kneeling down to Lily's level. Let me get Mr. Parker right now. Inside the conference room, David Parker is giving an important presentation. He's 45 years old now, with dark hair that's starting to turn gray at the sides. He's built a technology company from nothing, and right now he's in the middle of explaining a big business deal. Then Ruth appears in the doorway. Her face is pale, and David knows immediately that something is very wrong. David, she says quietly, I need you now. It's about Rachel Parker. The room goes silent. David drops his presentation remote on the table. Rachel's name is something nobody mentions around him. It's been 9 years, and he thought he'd moved on. But hearing her name still makes his heart skip a beat. Reschedule everything, he tells his colleagues, never taking his eyes off Ruth's face. A few moments later, David stands in his office doorway, completely frozen. There's a little girl standing in his office. A little girl with green eyes exactly like his own. The same color, the same way of looking at the world with curiosity and determination. Mr. Parker, Lily says, stepping forward like she's rehearsed this moment 100 times. My name is Lily Parker, and I think you're my daddy. My mom, Rachel, is in the hospital. The doctors say she only has 2 weeks left. She's been sick for 2 months, and she won't let me tell anyone about you because she says you have your own important life. David feels like the floor is tilting under his feet. Rachel, beautiful Rachel, who disappeared from his life like she was never there. And this child, this perfect, brave little girl who has his eyes and his chin and his way of standing when she's nervous. But I found you anyway, Lily continues, and her voice gets stronger now. Because Mom is all alone except for me. And when she's gone, I'll be all alone too. So I thought, maybe, if you knew about us. She takes a big breath. Would you marry my mom, please? So she doesn't die alone. And so maybe I could have a daddy. David sinks into his leather chair. He stares at this child for what feels like forever, trying to make sense of what's happening. This is his daughter. His daughter. Tell me about your mom, he finally says, his voice rough with emotion. Lily climbs into the chair across from his desk. Her legs swing because they don't reach the floor. She's the most beautiful person in the whole world. She makes pancakes shaped like butterflies on Sundays. She reads me stories and does different voices for all the characters. She teaches art classes at the community center when she feels good enough. David's heart clenches. He remembers Rachel's hands, how graceful they were when she talked about teaching children to express themselves through painting and drawing. She got sick 2 months ago, Lily continues. At first she was just really tired. Then the pain started, and she got so thin. The doctors use big words I don't understand, but I know what terminal means. I looked it up. It means she's not coming home with me anymore. David looks at this 8-year-old girl who's been forced to become so grown up, so fast. She's managing adult problems while still being a child. And she came all this way, on 3 buses, to find a father she'd never met. Mr. Parker, Lily says softly. Are you angry that I found you? No, sweetheart, David says, and his voice breaks. I'm not angry. I'm just very, very surprised. Mom always told me my daddy was a good man who had important work to do. She said sometimes good people can't be together, but that doesn't mean they didn't love each other. Do you think that's true? David looks into those familiar green eyes and sees Rachel's wisdom there. Even facing death, Rachel protected both him and Lily, carrying everything alone rather than disrupting his life. Yes, he whispers. I think your mom is very wise. And in that moment, David Parker's carefully organized life changes forever. The hospital smell hits David hard as he and Lily walk through the sliding doors of Chicago General Hospital. His heart is pounding so loud he can almost hear it. With each step down that long hallway toward room 314, he feels more terrified. This little girl's hand in his is the only thing keeping him grounded right now. She sleeps a lot now, Lily whispers as they get close to the room. The medicine makes her tired, but she always wakes up when I visit after school. David stops outside the door. Through the small window, he can see someone lying in the hospital bed, facing away from them. 9 years. It's been 9 years since he last saw Rachel, and now she's dying. It's okay, Lily says, squeezing his hand. She still looks like Mom. David pushes open the door. Rachel is awake, staring out the window at the Chicago skyline. Her long dark hair is shorter now, and she looks so much thinner than he remembers. But it's still her. Still Rachel. Lily, sweetheart, you're early today, Rachel begins, turning toward the door. Then she sees David standing beside their daughter, and the words die in her throat. The silence feels heavy. Rachel's hand flies to her mouth. Her eyes go wide with shock, and maybe with relief too. Hello, Rachel, David says softly. David. His name comes out as barely a whisper. How did you? Lily. Rachel's eyes move to their daughter, and she understands. Oh, baby. What did you do? Lily climbs onto the bed beside her mother. I found him, Mom. I took the bus to his building and told him about you. Please don't be mad. Rachel's eyes fill with tears as she looks between Lily and David. Sweetheart, I'm not mad. I'm just surprised. Like Daddy was, Lily says matter-of-factly. But he came anyway. The word Daddy hangs in the air between them like a bridge nobody knows how to cross. David moves closer to the bed. He can see how sick Rachel is now. She's pale and thin, but her eyes still have that depth that made him fall in love with her all those years ago. She's beautiful, Rachel, David says, his voice thick with emotion. Lily is absolutely beautiful. She's everything to me, Rachel replies, stroking Lily's hair. Everything good I've ever done is sitting right here. Why didn't you tell me? The question escapes before David can stop it. Rachel is quiet for a long moment. Do you remember how we ended things? That fight about your schedule? About how I felt like I was competing with your company for your attention. David nods. They'd argued about his 3-month business trip to Japan, about how work always seemed to come first. The day after that fight, I found out I was pregnant, Rachel continues. I almost called you so many times. But then I saw you on the business news, talking about your company going public. You looked so important and successful. And I realized that a poor art teacher and an unexpected baby would just be complications you didn't need. Rachel, no, David says, stepping closer. You would never have been a complication. Wouldn't I have been? Rachel's smile is sad but understanding. Be honest, David. 9 years ago, were you ready to be a father? Were you ready to put someone else's needs before your company? The question hits him like a punch because he knows the answer. 9 years ago, he was obsessed with building his business empire. He would have tried to do the right thing, sure. But would he have been the father Lily deserved? Maybe not then, he admits. But I should have had the choice. We should have decided together. Maybe, Rachel agrees. But I made the choice I thought was best for everyone. I don't regret it, David. Look at her. She squeezes Lily's hand. Look at this perfect little girl. She's been loved every single day of her life. Lily, who's been listening carefully to everything, suddenly speaks up. Are you mad at Mom, Daddy? The question stops David cold. Lily called him Daddy again, so naturally, like the word belongs to her. Looking at this brave little girl who somehow found the courage to track down a father she'd never met, David feels something shift in his chest. No, sweetheart, he says, sitting on the edge of Rachel's bed. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just grateful. Grateful that your mom raised such an amazing little girl. That evening, David sits alone in his apartment overlooking the lake. The space feels emptier than ever after the warmth of Rachel's hospital room. Lily's words keep echoing in his mind. Would you marry my mom, please, so she doesn't die alone? 2 weeks. Rachel has 2 weeks left, and his daughter wants him to marry a woman he hasn't seen in 9 years. The logical part of his mind says it's crazy, impossible. But the part of his heart that never fully healed from losing Rachel says something completely different. His phone buzzes. It's Ruth. How are you holding up, dear? David types back, I don't know what I'm doing. This is overwhelming. Her response comes quickly. When has your heart ever steered you wrong? You loved her once. Maybe you never stopped. Then another message. I've cleared your schedule for the next 3 weeks. Whatever you decide, you won't do it alone. Ruth has been more than his assistant. After his own mother died, she stepped into that role naturally, becoming the closest thing to family he had. David walks to his office and opens the bottom drawer of his desk. Beneath old contracts and paperwork lies a single painting. Rachel gave it to him during their time together. A sunset over Lake Michigan, painted from her tiny apartment window. He'd kept it hidden all these years because he could never throw it away. Looking at Rachel's delicate brushstrokes now, David remembers the evening she painted it. They'd ordered pizza and sat by her window, Rachel capturing the colors of the sky while David pretended to review work documents. You miss so much beauty when you're always looking at numbers, she'd said. Life is happening all around you, David. Don't let it pass by while you're busy being important. Her words had stung because they were true. But with Rachel, he'd remembered what it felt like to laugh spontaneously, to lose track of time, to want something beyond professional success. Now Lily exists. Proof that their brief love created something miraculous. And Rachel is dying, except for an 8-year-old daughter who was brave enough to find him. David's doorbell rings. Ruth stands in the hallway with coffee and concern on her face. You didn't answer my last text, she says, walking into his apartment. I was worried. What if I'm not good enough? David asks. What if I don't know how to be the father Lily needs? Nobody knows how to be a parent until they are one, Ruth says gently. But I've watched you for years, David. You're kind, you're generous, and you have more capacity for love than you give yourself credit for. But Lily deserves better than someone learning on the job. Lily deserves a father who loves her, which you already do. Ruth pauses. This isn't really about Lily, is it? This is about Rachel. David is quiet. I never got over her. When she left, I told myself it was closure. But seeing her today, I still love her. After 9 years, I still love her. That's not pathetic, Ruth says softly. That's beautiful. Some people spend their whole lives looking for the kind of love you and Rachel shared. You're being given a second chance. 2 weeks, Ruth. How do you build a family in 2 weeks? You don't build a family, she says. You discover it already exists. The next morning, Lily shows up at David's office again. This time she has a purple backpack covered in butterfly stickers and that same determined look on her face. Mom said I could spend today with you, Lily announces, settling into the chair like she belongs there. She has treatments this morning, and they make her really sleepy. Plus, I think you need to learn how to take care of me, just in case. She trails off, but they both know what she means. David feels his heart squeeze tight. What would you like to do today, sweetheart? I want to show you how to take care of Mom, Lily says. She pretends she's not scared, but I know she is. And she's worried about me when she's gone. Maybe if she sees that you know how to do everything, she won't worry so much. The wisdom in those words staggers him. At 8 years old, Lily is trying to take care of everyone's feelings while facing the loss of her only parent. Okay, David says, closing his laptop. Teach me. They start at the hospital cafeteria. Lily leads him through Rachel's dietary needs like a professional caregiver. Mom can't eat spicy food anymore because of her medicines. And dairy upsets her stomach. But she likes green tea with honey, and sometimes she can eat toast if it's not too dry. David watches his daughter manage these adult responsibilities with heartbreaking competence. How long has this 8-year-old been doing this alone? At the gift shop, Lily picks out a small stuffed elephant carefully. Mom collects elephants. She says they are symbols of memory and family bonds. She has 17 now, but this one is from both of us. In Rachel's room, they find her sitting up in bed, looking better than yesterday. Her face lights up when she sees Lily, but becomes complicated when she sees David. Look, Mom. Lily holds up the elephant. Daddy helped me pick this one. His name is David Jr. Rachel laughs. A real laugh, the first genuine one David has heard from her. David Jr. That's quite a name for such a small elephant. Lily's been teaching me how to take care of you, David says, sitting in the visitor's chair. Apparently I have a lot to learn. Oh, has she now? Rachel's eyes twinkle as she looks at their daughter. Lily launches into a detailed explanation of Rachel's care routine. Everything from how she likes her pillows arranged to the fact that she prefers audiobooks over television when she can't sleep. David listens like it's the most important lesson he's ever learned. She also likes it when someone holds her hand during scary parts of movies, Lily adds. And she makes up stories about people we see from the window. Want to see? For the next hour, David sits mesmerized as Rachel and Lily create elaborate backstories for pedestrians visible from the hospital window. The woman in the red coat is a secret agent. The man walking 3 dogs is training them for a circus. The teenager with the skateboard is practicing for the Olympics. You two have quite the imagination, David says. Mom says imagination is what makes life interesting, Lily replies. She says even when bad things happen, we can imagine better things coming. Rachel's eyes meet David's, and he sees the truth. Rachel is preparing Lily for a world without her, filling their remaining time with wonder instead of despair. As the afternoon goes on, David finds himself relaxing in ways he hasn't in years. Rachel's humor is gentler now, shaped by suffering, but her wit remains sharp. Lily's presence brings out a playfulness in both adults that feels both familiar and entirely new. Daddy, do you know any songs? Lily asks suddenly. Songs? David looks panicked. I'm not much of a singer, sweetheart. Mom sings to me when I'm scared. Maybe you could learn one for when. Lily's voice trails off. Rachel reaches over and smooths Lily's hair. What's your favorite song that Mom sings? You Are My Sunshine, Lily says immediately. But you changed the words to make them about me. How about we teach Daddy the Lily version? Rachel suggests. And so David Parker, CEO of a major corporation, finds himself learning a personalized lullaby in a hospital room. His voice cracks with emotion as Rachel guides him through verses she created for their daughter. You are my Lily, my beautiful Lily. You make me happy when skies are gray. By the time visiting hours end, something has shifted. This isn't about a dying woman's last wish anymore. This is about a family that somehow existed all along, just waiting to recognize itself. Friday evening brings a crisis that shatters their gentle routine. David is reviewing reports when his phone rings with a call from the hospital. Mr. Parker, this is Dr. Helen Foster, Rachel's oncologist. I'm calling because Lily listed you as an emergency contact. Rachel's condition has gotten much worse over the past few hours. You should come immediately. David is out of his chair before Dr. Foster finishes. Is she? She's stable for now, but we've had to increase her pain medication significantly. Mr. Parker, I think it's time we discuss some difficult realities about Rachel's remaining time. The drive to the hospital passes in a blur. David finds Lily in the family waiting room, sitting beside Ruth, who somehow appeared the moment he called her. Daddy. Lily rushes into his arms. Mom collapsed at home. The neighbor called the ambulance, and they brought us here, and the doctors won't tell me anything except I can't see her yet. David holds his daughter close, trying to project calm he doesn't feel. It's going to be okay, sweetheart. I'm here now. Dr. Foster appears in the doorway. Mr. Parker, could I speak with you privately? Ruth immediately sits with Lily. How about we see if the vending machine has those chocolate chip cookies you like? In the hallway, Dr. Foster delivers the news David has been dreading. Rachel's cancer has progressed more aggressively than we anticipated. What we thought might be 2 weeks is now looking more like days. Maybe a week at most. Days. David feels the world tilt. But yesterday she was laughing, telling stories. Cancer is unpredictable, Mr. Parker. Rachel's been fighting incredibly hard. But her body is shutting down. What can we do? We're managing her pain. Beyond that, Dr. Foster pauses. I understand you and Rachel have been discussing some kind of commitment ceremony. If that's something you're still considering, I'd recommend not waiting much longer. David finds Rachel in a new room, surrounded by monitoring equipment. She looks impossibly fragile against the white sheets, her breathing shallow. He takes her hand gently, and her eyes flutter open. James, she whispers. Where's Lily? She's with Ruth. She's safe. David smooths her hair back. Rachel, the doctor told me. I know. I can feel it, David. Everything's getting distant. What do you need me to do? Rachel is quiet, gathering strength. Marry me. Not for Lily's sake, not for deathbed dramatics. Marry me because 9 years ago I loved you enough to let you go. And now I love you enough to want to be yours, even if it's only for a few days. David feels tears break free. Sarah. I know it's crazy. I know it's asking too much. But Lily needs to see that love wins sometimes, even when everything else falls apart. She needs to believe in happy endings, even the short ones. Yes, David says without hesitation. Yes, I'll marry you. I've been trying to find a way to ask since yesterday. Rachel's smile is radiant despite her exhaustion. Really? Really? I never stopped loving you, Rachel. Not for a single day in 9 years. Will you call Lily in? I need to explain what's happening. When Lily enters and sees her mother's condition, her face crumples. But Rachel, drawing on strength David didn't know she had, explains in terms their 8-year-old can understand. The sickness is winning faster than we thought, baby girl. But before that happens, Daddy and I are going to get married right here in the hospital. Would you like to be our flower girl? You're going to be a real family. Lily's voice is small but hopeful. We already are a real family, David says. We have been since the day you were born. We just didn't know it yet. Saturday morning arrives with gentle chaos. By 7 o'clock, Rachel's hospital room has been transformed. White lilies line the windowsill, filling the air with their sweet scent. A small arch of roses stands at the foot of Rachel's bed, and Lily wears a pale yellow dress that Ruth somehow found overnight. Ruth, how did you manage all this? David asks, adjusting his tie in the bathroom mirror. I've been planning events for 40 years, Ruth replies, pinning a flower to his jacket. Though I must say, this is the most important wedding I've ever arranged. Dr. Foster worked with the hospital chaplain to clear all the paperwork. When David expressed concern about legal issues regarding Lily's custody, the doctor was reassuring. The state recognizes deathbed marriages for inheritance and custody purposes. Lily will legally be your stepdaughter, which gives you standing to adopt her afterward. Now, watching Lily arrange her small bouquet, the reality hits David. In a few hours, he'll be married to Rachel. And sometime in the next few days, he'll be widowed and responsible for raising a daughter he's known for less than a week. Daddy, are you nervous? Lily asks, appearing beside him. A little, David admits. Are you? No, Lily says with 8-year-old certainty. Mom says weddings are just a way of telling everyone what your heart already knows. And my heart has always known you were my daddy, even when I didn't know your name. At 10 o'clock, Reverend Patricia Collins arrives, a gentle woman in her 60s who specializes in hospital ceremonies. She spends a few minutes talking privately with Rachel, making sure she's capable of giving consent despite her medication. The ceremony itself is simple and deeply moving. Rachel insists on sitting up for the vows despite the obvious pain it causes. Lily stands between her parents, holding both their hands as they make their promises. David, Rachel says, her voice soft but steady. 9 years ago, I loved you enough to let you go. Today, I love you enough to choose you again, for however long we have. You are Lily's father in every way that matters. And you are the love of my life, even if I took too long to say it. David's voice breaks as he replies. Rachel, you gave me the greatest gift possible, our daughter. You've shown me what it means to love someone more than yourself. I promise to honor the family we've created and to love Lily with all the love I would have given to you. When Reverend Collins pronounces them husband and wife, the kiss is gentle, sacred, and full of 9 years of unspoken longing. Lily claps enthusiastically, and even Ruth wipes away tears. Are we officially a family now? Lily asks. We've always been a family, sweetheart, Rachel says, pulling Lily onto the bed beside her. Now we just have the paperwork to prove it. The rest of the day passes in quiet celebration. Ruth arranged for a small wedding cake from Rachel's favorite bakery. The nursing staff allows them extended visiting hours. Lily entertains them with dramatic readings from her favorite books, and David finds himself memorizing every detail. Rachel's laugh, the way she braids Lily's hair, the contentment in her eyes despite the pain. As evening approaches, Dr. Foster pulls David aside. Rachel's vitals have stabilized somewhat since yesterday. I think the emotional boost from the wedding is giving her a bit more time. Maybe 3 or 4 more days instead of just 1 or 2. Is she in pain? We're managing it well. She's comfortable, Mr. Parker. And she's at peace in a way I rarely see with terminal patients. Having her family together has made all the difference. That night, David sleeps in the reclining chair beside Rachel's bed while Lily curls up on a cot that Ruth somehow found. As he listens to the quiet breathing of his wife and daughter, David realizes that despite the circumstances, this is the most complete he's ever felt. Around midnight, Rachel stirs awake and finds his hand in the darkness. "Thank you," she whispers. "For what?" "For giving Lily a father. For giving me a husband. For making this the best day of my life instead of one of the worst." Rachel pauses. "I know we can't have the life we might have had 9 years ago. But we have this. We have right now. And right now is perfect." Sunday brings an unexpected gift. Rachel wakes up with more energy than she's had in weeks. The wedding somehow recharged her spirit, and she's determined to make the most of whatever time remains. "I want to go outside," she announces over breakfast. "Sweetheart, I don't think the doctors," David begins. "I asked Dr. Foster an hour ago," Rachel interrupts with a smile. "She said as long as I stay in a wheelchair and don't overdo it, we can go to the hospital garden for a few hours." Lily bounces excitedly. "Really, Mom? We can have a picnic." Within an hour, Ruth arrives with a picnic basket and a wheelchair decorated with ribbons. The hospital garden is a small oasis on the building's 3rd-floor terrace, complete with benches, flowering trees, and a view of the lake. For a moment, they look like any other family enjoying a sunny afternoon. They spread a blanket on the ground beside Rachel's wheelchair. Lily chases butterflies. David explains his work to an 8-year-old in terms of digital knights protecting electronic castles. Rachel listens with amusement, clearly enjoying this glimpse of the man he's become. "You're good with her," Rachel observes quietly while Lily investigates a flower bed. She makes it easy. "She's remarkable, Rachel. You've done an incredible job." "We've done a good job," Rachel corrects. "She has your determination and your kind heart." As the afternoon progresses, they create family memories that should have existed all along. David teaches Lily card games. Rachel tells stories about her own childhood. And as the sun begins to set, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks, Lily climbs onto David's lap. "Daddy, will you tell me about when you and Mom first met?" David looks at Rachel, who nods encouragingly. "Well, your mom walked into a business meeting wearing a yellow dress that looked like sunshine. She had paint under her fingernails and the most beautiful smile I'd ever seen. From the moment she spoke, she made everyone remember what it felt like to believe in magic." "Was it love at first sight?" Lily asks. "For me it was," David admits. "For your mom, it took a little longer to convince." 3 whole days, Rachel laughs weakly. "What changed your mind?" Lily wants to know. "He brought me coffee," Rachel says. "Not fancy coffee from some expensive shop, but coffee from a little cart run by an elderly man. Your daddy had noticed what I ordered every morning, and he'd learned a few words to ask for my usual order. When he handed me that coffee cup with the worst pronunciation I'd ever heard, I knew he was paying attention to the little things that mattered to me." As they pack up and return to Rachel's room, David realizes this has been one of the best days of his life. Not despite the circumstances, but because of them. They are living fully in each precious moment. "Thank you for today," he tells Rachel as he helps her back into bed. "Thank you for all our todays," she replies. "Past, present, and future." Monday morning brings the harsh reminder that borrowed time always has a price. Rachel's energy from yesterday has drained away, leaving her pale and struggling with pain. Dr. Foster adjusts her medication, but the message is clear: Rachel is dying. Really dying now. Today. Tomorrow at most, Dr. Foster says gently during a private consultation. Her body is shutting down. "I'm sorry, Mr. Parker." When David returns to Rachel's room, he finds Lily sitting quietly beside her mother's bed, holding her hand and reading aloud from a beloved book. "That's what the spider wrote about the pig," Lily reads carefully. "She made everyone see how special he was." "I remember, baby girl," Rachel whispers. Lily looks up at David with ancient eyes in her young face. Mama told me about this story when I was little because she wanted me to understand that sometimes people we love go away, but the love stays forever. Daddy, can you help me with something? Lily asks. I want to write letters for Mom to read when she gets to heaven. Do you think that's silly? No, sweetheart, David says. I think that's beautiful. For the next several hours, David helps Lily craft letters to her mother. One for every birthday Rachel will miss, one for Lily's graduation, one for her wedding day, and dozens more for all the moments they won't share. Rachel drifts in and out of consciousness, but whenever she's awake, she listens to the letters with tears streaming down her face. That evening, as the city lights begin twinkling beyond the window, Rachel rallies enough for one final conversation. David, she says, her voice barely audible. Promise me something. Anything. Don't let Lily become afraid of love because she lost me. Don't let her think caring about people means getting hurt. Help her understand that love is always worth the risk. I promise. And don't you become afraid either. You have so much love to give, David. Don't close your heart because you lost me. Lily needs to see you living fully, not just surviving. Promise me you'll both choose joy when you can find it. Promise me you'll laugh together and make new memories and not spend all your time missing me. We promise, Mom, Lily says, climbing onto the bed beside Rachel. But we're going to miss you anyway, because you're the best mom in the whole world. And you're the best daughter in the whole world, Rachel replies, stroking Lily's hair. And your daddy is the best man I've ever known. You're going to take care of each other, aren't you? Yes, Lily says firmly. We're a family now. We're a family now, Rachel agrees. As the night deepens, Rachel asks David to sing the lullaby they learned together. His voice cracks, but he sings every word while Rachel hums along weakly and Lily dozes peacefully between her parents. I love you, Rachel whispers when the song ends. Both of you, more than all the stars in the sky. We love you too, David replies, kissing her forehead gently. At 11:47 p.m., with her husband holding one hand and her daughter sleeping peacefully beside her, Rachel Parker takes her last breath. She dies surrounded by love, thinking of others, leaving the world brighter than she found it. David sits in the sudden silence, holding Rachel's still hand, watching over Lily's sleeping form, trying to comprehend that in 3 days he gained a wife, lost her, and became the sole parent of a daughter who will need him to be stronger than he ever imagined possible. 3 weeks after Rachel's funeral, David discovers letters hidden in Lily's backpack. Not the ones they wrote together, but dozens of letters Lily has been writing to her mother's former colleagues, students, and friends. Letters searching for something Rachel had kept secret. Lily, sweetheart, what are all these? David asks gently, finding her at the kitchen table, surrounded by envelopes and tear-stained paper. I'm trying to find Mom's paintings, Lily says, wiping her eyes. Before she got sick, she told me she'd been working on something special for my birthday. I thought maybe she gave it to someone for safekeeping. Lily, you know your mom was very sick those last few months. She might not have finished whatever she was working on. She finished it, Lily says with absolute certainty. Mom always finished things for me. Always. That afternoon, a phone call changes everything. Mrs. Gloria Martinez from the community center calls with urgent news. Mr. Parker, I got Lily's letter, and I think I know what she's looking for. Could you and Lily come down here today? There's something Rachel left in her teaching studio that I think you need to see. An hour later, David and Lily stand in the small art studio where Rachel taught children's classes twice a week. Mrs. Martinez, a kind woman who'd been Rachel's supervisor, leads them to a storage closet. Rachel rented this space for 6 months before she died, Mrs. Martinez explains, producing a key. She paid for a full year in advance and made me promise not to open it until Lily came looking. She said Lily would know when it was time. The closet contains dozens of paintings, watercolors, acrylics, and pencil sketches that take David's breath away. Every single piece features Lily at different ages, captured in moments David never saw. Lily learning to walk, blowing out birthday candles, reading her first book, playing in parks David never visited. Mom painted my whole life, Lily whispers, moving from canvas to canvas with wonder. But it's the largest painting, covered by a sheet in the back corner, that holds the real surprise. When Mrs. Martinez pulls away the covering, David feels his knees nearly buckle. It's a family portrait. David, Rachel, and Lily together in a scene that never existed in real life but feels absolutely true. They are sitting under a cherry tree, with Lily between her parents, all three of them laughing at something beyond the viewer's sight. The detail is extraordinary, but it's the note attached to the frame that stops David's heart. My dearest Lily, the note reads in Rachel's careful handwriting. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. But this painting is my promise to you that we were always meant to be a family. I painted this from my dreams, from the life I imagined we could have had if I'd been braver 9 years ago. Your daddy doesn't know it yet, but he's been loving us both all along. He just needed time to find us. This painting is what love looks like when it's patient enough to wait for the right moment. Happy 9th birthday, my beautiful girl. Love always, Mom. David stares at the date on the note. It had been painted 4 months ago, a month before Rachel's diagnosis. She'd been planning to give Lily this family portrait for her 9th birthday, somehow knowing that David would be part of their lives by then. She knew, David says, his voice filled with wonder. Somehow, she knew we'd find each other. Lily is studying her mother's self-portrait in the painting with intense concentration. Daddy, look at Mom's eyes in the picture. David looks closer and sees what Lily noticed. In the painted version of Rachel, there's peace and joy instead of the sadness that haunted her real features during her illness. This was Rachel as she dreamed of being, healthy, happy, and complete. She painted herself the way she looked when she was really, really happy, Lily observes. Like on our wedding day. Mrs. Martinez clears her throat gently. There's more. Rachel left specific instructions about these paintings. She wants Lily to choose which ones to keep and which ones to donate to the children who were in her art classes. She said art is meant to be shared, and love multiplies when you give it away. As they carefully load the paintings into David's car, Lily makes a decision that surprises him. I want to give most of them to the other kids, she says. Mom would want her art to make lots of families happy, not just us. But I want to keep the family one and maybe 5 others for our house. Are you sure, sweetheart? These are all portraits of you. Mom always said the best gifts are the ones that keep on giving, Lily replies. Besides, I have the real memories. The paintings are just reminders. That evening, as they hang the family portrait in Lily's new bedroom, a space Ruth helped them create in David's apartment, Lily makes another announcement. Daddy, I think Mom sent me one more message. What's that, sweetheart? She painted you smiling in the picture. Really, really smiling. I think she wants you to know it's okay to be happy sometimes, even though she's gone. Looking at his painted self in Rachel's masterpiece, David realizes Lily is right. Rachel somehow captured him not as the grieving widower he'd become, but as the joyful father and husband he was meant to be. I think you're right, he says, pulling Lily into a hug. I think Mom wants us both to remember that love doesn't end. It just changes shape. Lily's 9th birthday falls on a crisp October morning, exactly 1 month after Rachel's death. David wakes early, determined to make the day special despite the sadness that has settled over both their lives. He finds Lily already awake, sitting by her bedroom window, staring at Rachel's family painting. Happy birthday, sweetheart, David says softly, settling beside her on the window seat. Do you think Mom knows it's my birthday in heaven? Lily asks, her voice smaller than usual. I think your mom knows everything important that happens to you, David replies. She loved you too much to ever stop paying attention. They'd planned a small celebration, just Lily, David, and Ruth, along with a few children from Lily's new school. David had worried about overwhelming Lily with a big party so soon after losing her mother, but Lily surprised him by wanting to celebrate. Mom always said birthdays are for remembering how happy people were when you came into the world, Lily explained. I want to remember her being happy. The morning brings an unexpected visitor. Dr. Foster arrives at their door carrying a carefully wrapped package and a gentle smile. I hope you don't mind me stopping by, she says. Rachel asked me to give this to Lily on her 9th birthday. She made me promise to deliver it personally. Lily's eyes widen as she accepts the package. Inside is a jewelry box painted by Rachel's own hand, decorated with butterflies and featuring a small ballerina that dances when the box opens. But it's the letter inside that makes Lily gasp. My precious 9-year-old, Rachel had written. If you're reading this, it means I couldn't be there to sing happy birthday to you myself. But I want you to know that every birthday wish I ever made was about you, for your happiness, your health, and your dreams coming true. This jewelry box belonged to my grandmother, who gave it to my mother, who gave it to me. Now it's yours. And someday you'll give it to your own daughter and tell her about the great-grandmother who loved her before she was even born. Inside the secret compartment, press the ballerina's dress twice. You'll find my most precious gift to you. Happy birthday, my beautiful girl. Love forever and always, Mom. With trembling fingers, Lily presses the ballerina's dress. A tiny compartment opens, revealing a delicate gold locket and a folded piece of paper. Inside the locket is a miniature version of the family portrait Rachel had painted. And the paper contains one final surprise. Lily, the note reads, I've been keeping a secret from you and Daddy. Before I got sick, I submitted your story, The Brave Little Star, to a children's magazine. Today, on your 9th birthday, you should be receiving your first published story in the mail, along with a check for $50. You're not just my daughter, sweetheart. You're a real author. Keep writing, keep dreaming, and keep shining your light for the world to see. David stares at the note in amazement. Lily, you never told me you submitted a story to a magazine. I didn't, Lily says, equally confused. Mom must have done it without telling me. As if summoned by Rachel's prediction, the doorbell rings. The mail carrier stands outside with a registered package addressed to Miss Lily Parker. Inside is a copy of Young Writers Monthly, featuring Lily's story on page 12, along with a congratulatory letter and a check made out in her name. I'm a real writer, Lily exclaims, dancing around the living room with the magazine clutched to her chest. Mom made me a real writer. The rest of Lily's birthday unfolds with a magic that feels orchestrated by Rachel's loving spirit. Ruth arrives with a cake shaped like a butterfly. The small group of school friends brings handmade cards and stories they wrote inspired by Lily's published piece. But it's the evening conversation between James and Lily that marks the real transformation in their new family dynamic. Daddy, Lily says as David tucks her into bed, surrounded by birthday presents and cards. I want to ask you something important. What's that, sweetheart? Can we stop being so sad all the time? I miss Mom terribly, and I think about her every day. But I don't think she wants us to forget how to be happy. David feels something shift in his chest. A loosening of the guilt he's been carrying about any moment of joy he's experienced since Rachel's death. You're absolutely right, he says. Your mom spent her last weeks making sure we knew how to be a family. I think we owe it to her to actually be one. So we can laugh sometimes without feeling bad about it. We can laugh as much as we want, David confirms. And we can miss Mom at the same time. Both things can be true. Lily is quiet for a moment, then says, I think Mom knew you'd be a good daddy because you listen to kids like we're real people instead of just small adults who don't know anything yet. Where did you learn to be so wise? From Mom, Lily says simply. And now from you too. As David turns off Lily's bedroom light, leaving only the soft glow from her new jewelry box's ballerina, he realizes that Rachel gave them more than love in their brief time together. She gave them permission to build a life that honors her memory without being defined by their loss. Tomorrow they would wake up as a family, not held together by grief, but by the choice to love each other forward into whatever came next. 6 months later, on the anniversary of the day Lily first walked into David's office, father and daughter stand in their new home's backyard, planting a cherry tree in honor of Rachel's memory. The house is smaller than David's old apartment but filled with the warmth of a real family home. Lily's artwork covers the refrigerator. Books are scattered on every surface. And Rachel's family portrait hangs prominently above the fireplace. Do you think it will bloom next spring? Lily asks, carefully patting soil around the young tree's roots. I think it will bloom exactly when it's ready to, David replies, remembering Rachel's lesson about patience and timing. Some beautiful things are worth waiting for. Lily, now 9.5, has grown 3 inches and gained the confidence that comes from being genuinely loved and supported. Her second story has been accepted by the same children's magazine, and she's been invited to read at the local library's Young Authors event. But more importantly, she's learned to carry her mother's memory as a source of strength rather than overwhelming sadness. Daddy, do you ever wish things had been different? Lily asks as they finish their planting. Like if Mom hadn't gotten sick, or if she'd told you about me when I was a baby. David considers the question carefully. It's one he's wrestled with during many sleepless nights over the past months. I used to wish that, he says honestly. But then I realized something. If things had been different, we might not appreciate how precious this is. He gestures between them. We might have taken our family for granted instead of choosing it deliberately every single day. Lily nods thoughtfully. Mom always said that the best love stories aren't about perfect people having perfect lives. They are about imperfect people making perfect choices when it matters most. Your mom was very wise. She still is, Lily corrects. I talk to her every night, and she gives me good advice through my dreams. David no longer questions Lily's ongoing relationship with Rachel's memory. The child psychologist Ruth insisted they consult assured him that Lily is processing her grief in healthy ways, maintaining connection with her mother while still investing in her relationship with him. The sound of the doorbell interrupts their gardening. Ruth appears around the corner of the house, followed by Dr. Foster and Mrs. Martinez from the community center. All three women carry covered dishes and wear the expressions of people planning a surprise. "What's all this?" David asks, brushing soil from his hands. "It's the anniversary of the day Lily found you," Ruth says simply. "We thought it should be celebrated. Plus," Dr. Foster adds, "I have some news I wanted to share in person." As they gather in the kitchen around Ruth's impromptu feast, Dr. Foster pulls out an official-looking document. "The Rachel Parker Memorial Art Fund has been officially established," she announces. "The hospital board approved the proposal unanimously. Starting next month, we'll be offering free art therapy sessions for children whose parents are receiving treatment in our oncology ward." Lily's eyes light up. "Like what Mom did at the community center." "Exactly like what your mom did," Mrs. Martinez confirms. "And we were hoping you might want to help sometimes. Not as a teacher, of course, but maybe you could share your stories with the kids. Help them understand that they can create beautiful things even when they are scared." Lily looks at David for permission, and he nods encouragingly. "I'd love to," Lily says. "Mom always said that sharing our gifts makes them bigger instead of smaller." As the afternoon stretches into evening, David finds himself surrounded by the chosen family that has formed around Rachel's memory and Lily's needs. Ruth, who's become the grandmother Lily never knew. Dr. Foster, who checks on them both with the dedication of a favorite aunt. Mrs. Martinez, who continues Lily's art education with patience and skill. But it's the conversation he has with Lily after everyone leaves that marks the true completion of their journey together. "Daddy," Lily says as they clean up the kitchen, "I've been thinking about something." "What's that, sweetheart?" "Do you think you'll ever want to get married again? I mean, really married, not just because someone is dying." The question surprises David, both because of its directness and because he realizes he's been wondering the same thing. "I don't know," he answers honestly. "Would it bother you if I did someday?" Lily is quiet for a moment, drying a plate with careful attention. "I think Mom would want you to be happy. And I think I'd want a stepmom who understood that Mom is still my first mom, even if she's in heaven." "That's very mature of you." "I'm almost 10, Lily says with dignity. "Besides, love isn't like pie. You don't get less when you share it with more people." "Where did you learn that?" "From watching you," Lily says simply. "You love me, and you loved Mom, and you love Ruth and Dr. Foster and Mrs. Martinez. Love just keeps growing when you use it." As David tucks Lily into bed that night, he reflects on the impossible journey that brought them together. 18 months ago, he was a successful but lonely CEO with no idea he had a daughter. Now he's a father, a widower, and the guardian of a remarkable little girl who teaches him more about courage and love than any business school ever could. "Thank you," he whispers to Rachel's portrait hanging in Lily's room. "Thank you for Lily, for loving me enough to let me find you both, and for showing us how to be a family." "She says you're welcome," Lily says sleepily from her bed. "And she says to tell you that the best love stories never really end. They just turn into new chapters." David smiles, kissing his daughter's forehead and turning off the light. Outside Lily's window, the city of Chicago sparkles with possibility. And somewhere beyond the stars, Rachel Parker rests peacefully, knowing that love had indeed conquered all, not by preventing loss, but by creating something beautiful and lasting from the time they'd been given. The end of their story was really just the beginning of a new one. A story about a father and daughter who chose each other, who honored the woman who brought them together, and who learned that family isn't just about blood or time spent together. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about loving fiercely, even when you know loss is inevitable. And it's about carrying forward the gifts we've been given by those we love. Lily was right. The best love stories never really end. They just keep growing, one brave choice at a time.